where we make A-level biology as simple as a cell. So today we're understanding the overall reaction of aerobic respiration as splitting of the respiratory substrate to release carbon dioxide as a waste product and reuniting of hydrogen with atmospheric oxygen with the release of a large amount of energy. We'll also understand that respiration is a many-step process with each step controlled and catalyzed by a specific intracellular enzyme. So respiration is a series of enzyme-controlled reactions that release energy from respiratory substrates to produce ATP. The most common respiratory substrate is glucose. However, in the case that glucose is not available in the body, there are alternatives that could be considered such as fatty acids, glycerol, and amino acids. Respiration occurs continuously in living cells because ATP is required for vital processes such as muscle contraction, active transport, protein synthesis, cell division, and nerve impulse transmission. So this is the equation for aerobic respiration, and you must know this. So on the left-hand side, you have the reactants, which are glucose and oxygen. And on the right-hand side, you have the products, which is water, carbon dioxide, and energy. Of enzyme-controlled reactions in which glucose is oxidized and oxygen is reduced results in the release of energy that is used to synthesize ATP. Glucose contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. During respiration, glucose is gradually broken down through a series of metabolic pathways. Carbon atoms are removed from glucose and combined with oxygen to form carbon dioxide, which is released as a waste product. Hydrogen atoms and electrons are also removed from glucose through dehydrogenation reactions, and therefore glucose is oxidized because it loses hydrogen and electrons. During respiration, does not remain free in the cell. Instead, it is carried by coenzymes and ultimately transferred to oxygen, the final acceptor in aerobic respiration. During glycolysis, the link reaction and the Krebs cycle, glucose is progressively oxidized. And if you want more detailed videos on these processes, it's covered in topic 5, which is fully uploaded, so do check it out if you want. As glucose is oxidized, hydrogen atoms are removed through dehydrogenation reactions. These hydrogen atoms are accepted by coenzymes, principally the NAD and the FAD, therefore forming reduced NAD and reduced FAD. The reduced coenzymes transport the hydrogen to the electron transport chain located in the inner mitochondrial membrane. And once again, if you want more detailed videos, do check topic 5. Transport chain, hydrogen atoms carried by reduced NAD and reduced FAD dissociate into hydrogen ions and electrons. The electrons pass through a series of electron carriers. Energy released during electron transfer is used to generate ATP. At the end of the electron transport chain, oxygen accepts electrons from the chain, and oxygen then combines with hydrogen ions from the mitochondrial matrix. Without oxygen, electrons cannot leave the electron transport chain, reduced NAD and reduced FAD cannot be reoxidized, hydrogen cannot be removed from glucose efficiently, and aerobic respiration stops. So this is why oxygen is really, really important and plays a key role in aerobic respiration. And if you want a more detailed video on electron transport chain, you can find it in the topic 5 playlist. The oxidation of glucose and reduction of oxygen are linked redox reactions. So redox reactions are something you would have probably covered in GCSE. And the products, carbon dioxide and water, contains bonds at a lower energy level than those in glucose. As a result, energy is released during respiration. This energy is transferred to ATP, which provides energy for cellular processes such as active transport, muscle contraction, and protein synthesis. It is observed that energy is produced through aerobic respiration. Energy is released because the bonds in glucose contain chemical potential energy. The breaking of bonds require energy while formation of new bonds release energy. And this is something you definitely would have covered in GCSE chemistry. The bonds formed in carbon dioxide and water are more stable than the bonds in glucose. This basically means that more energy is released when the bonds in carbon dioxide and water forms in contrast to the energy released to break the bonds in glucose, resulting in a net result of energy release. This energy is captured in ATP. As a multiple number of small reactions rather than one big reaction. And this is because each reaction only releases a small amount of energy. It is a controlled process and catalyzed by a specific enzyme. If all the energy is released instantly, high heat production is generated, leading to damage to proteins, which leads to enzyme denaturation and eventually cell death. Stage of respiration is catalyzed by enzymes. Respiratory enzymes are located inside cells. They are highly specific and have low activation energy and allows reactions to occur rapidly at body temperature. Each enzyme catalyzes one reaction and produces the substrate for the next reaction. Without enzymes, reactions would occur too slowly, activation energies would be too high, and insufficient ATP would be produced. Respiration, a metabolic pathway. A metabolic pathway can be defined as a sequence of enzyme-controlled reactions. In respiration, one product becomes the substrate for the next step. This allows control, gradual release, and ATP synthesis throughout the pathway. So that is all from Professor Snap today. Hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions or if you need further clarifications, let me know in the comments below and I'll get back to them as soon as possible. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.